Okay. So can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, so welcome everybody to the Global Blockchain, Cryptocurrency and Trading Meetup community. Tonight is hosted by myself, DC, and Simon. We ask you not to record as we are already doing so. We have a Telegram group, so anybody that's new here in the meetup this evening, and I think there is 2 or 3 new people here this evening, we have a private meetup group. So if you want to DM me in the chat here in Zoom with your Telegram name or number, I'll get you added to the Telegram group. We do only allow people join the Telegram group that has actually come to the meetup. We also have a meetups feedback form that will be provided by meetups.com. We would appreciate it if you could take the time to fill this out, as this helps the meetup group get a little bit more visibility. And also, this is not financial advice. So moving on to our code of conduct. So in our meeting tonight, we ask everybody to be aware of others, be friendly and patient, be welcoming and respectful, be open to all questions and viewpoints, be understanding of differences, and be kind and considerate to others. If anybody does want to raise any sort of issue around conduct, they can contact myself, Dee, or Simon directly. So an upcoming meeting for next Friday, and we have our very own Simon presenting to us next Friday, and he's going to go through some stuff on Etherscan and how to use Etherscan. And I already know what he's going to show us is quite interesting, because he'd mentioned a few things to me and I was like, huh, you can do that on Etherscan? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one myself next week. And then tonight we have TradingView and Charting Basics by our very own Dee as well. And that is it for our code of conduct this evening. So I will stop sharing. I have stopped sharing. Okay. My screen's not sharing anymore, is it?
We still got your desktop there. You've got a very messy desktop, Paul. Shame on you. How you work under them conditions.
Okay. Dee, we'll pass straight over to you then.
Sure thing. Welcome everybody. It's great to be here this evening. I'm just going to share my screen. We're initially going to do this as trading strategies, but swing trading at the moment is not really an option out there. The price is in a horrible little channel. Unless you really know what you're doing, it gets nasty out there. So we're after changing the mindset here, and we're going to look at charts. First of all, we're going to go through the GUI on TradingView, every button on it. And then later on, we're going to show some strategies that an investor should use, not a trader. But bear in mind, when you are investing, you're essentially trading, because I assume that the goal is in time to sell on the asset at a higher price. So it's more like a long-time trade, really. Excuse me. So we'll start off from left to right. On the left, we have here, this is how you draw a line. And there's many different types of lines. There's trend angles, horizontal lines, vertical lines. We just keep it simple. You know, you just pick up a normal horizontal line and say you wanted to grab a point. You just click on it there and horizontal line will appear. That there happens to be around 20,000. You want to get out, you press Command and Z. That's the shortcut to get out of everything. There's other lines there. I mean, it depends on what you're charting, but normally a trend line. It's what you want, you know. You click it there and then you just Command Z to get rid of it. Simple as that. So that's how you draw a line. This next one, this doesn't really concern people. I mean, this is for trading, so we're going to skip past that. We're not going to complicate it. On the left here as well, fourth icon down, we've got the paintbrush. That's literally for just doing displays, you know. You won't need that either. Dropping down into the next tab, we've got tools. These are literally just if you want to put in a price point at a certain line, balloons, stuff like that. Not really important. It's more for if you're doing demonstrations. So we won't concern with that. We won't waste time on that either. These measurement tools are quite handy. We've got several of them here. A long position or a short position. Again, this shouldn't concern you guys, but you see here, if you click on it, it'll tell you how many percentage of risk is involved and what the upside is. As you slide these sliders, you'd see that your risk depletes. And the same applies in here for the short position or a long position. You can pick either. And then there's date ranges. These are quite handy as well if you want to check, a date, what the range was, how many pips happened within that range. Again, it's more advanced stuff, so you won't concern too much about that either. There's some other good ones in here though. Sorry, bear with us, wrong one. Yeah, you've got your time cycles as well. Again, I'm not going to go into that, guys. That's just getting too technical. This is an investor mindset. Remember, we're not going to get bamboozle you with a ton of advanced strategy, because you learn the skill first and then you can expand on it. So we'll go past that for the minute as well. That's just icons, useless. The ruler here now, that's quite useful as an investor. See here, you can plot percentages. So if you're doing extrapolation, this will tell you how many percent is involved in the extrapolation. That is useful. That will come in handy, and we'll get into some more of that later. In about 15 minutes, I'm going to run through the whole interface, and in about 15 minutes, I'm going to come back and show a strategy or two. So if anybody's really serious about learning a skill and they want to give themselves an edge against the bots, the algorithms, and the market makers, most importantly, they should really have a strategy and learn the basics. This fundamentals and TA together is a very powerful combo. TA on its own, maybe not. Fundamentals on its own, not so much. There's times when fundamentals will trump your TA and vice versa. I mean, you might have the nicest trade in the world set up or the nicest entry point for your investment. But as soon as some FUD happens, it's over. We have to find a new channel. So at the moment, trading is not an option. We'll stick to just the investment mindset. But again, these tools will come in useful. So if anybody's serious about learning a new skill to give yourself an edge, open up your laptop now and go to a fresh tab and bang in TradingView.com and hit chart. And when that finally loads up, we're already on the Bitcoin here. You guys should see that. So if you want to open that up while I'm going through the interface, anybody that's interested, and then when we come to doing in about 15 minutes when I'm finished with the interface, you can kind of follow me along, and as I'm doing, you can follow me and you can kind of learn as we go. And I think that's the best way for new people to learn the interface. So we'll crack on here with the rest of the GUI. Down past the ruler, we have a magnet. This is handy. The magnet gives you two options, a weak magnet or a strong magnet. So when you see me draw that trend line there, on a strong magnet, if I go to move that, it will only move when it's really prone. It'll lock to these points. Let's say I draw a line in here. So see how it's locking to the different points? Without the magnet, it doesn't do that. So strong magnet is even stronger. So this is another tool that you will use. And we come down from that. There's nothing really important. I mean, you've got your bin here. This is just literally for resetting things. Remove drones, remove indicators, remove everything. That's grand. Up here, we have moving from left to right again. This is all your different charts. TradingView is like a one-stop shop for all charts, indices, for stocks, crypto. Any market that exists, nearly there's a chart in there for TradingView for the most part, except really obscure altcoins. So we're on Bitcoin here for the moment. When you're choosing a chart to look at, don't go for an obscure exchange. Go for an exchange that has the volume. Like Coinbase is huge. You got the volume in there. So again, then you can go into the indexes. There's some really useful charts in here, guys. I should have had these open earlier actually, but one that we look at a lot on this show is the total too. That's the market cap without Bitcoin. when you look at that, you just bang in total too, and yes, TradingView has gone to sleep. That's because I spelled it wrong. Total. Yeah, we got a T in there. It should appear. There we go. So that's how you get into them. That shows the whole cryptocurrency market cap excluding Bitcoin. Another brilliant one is Bitcoin dominance. Very useful when you're looking for entries. And Bitcoin market dominance. There's plenty of them here. Here's the actual TradingView one. You know, and remember that's separate to charts. That's in indices. That's in the indexes. And another one which came in very handy the other day, we were able to catch them whales up to their tricks, was the Bitcoin shorts. So you just put in Bitcoin shorts, should pop up. No, because I spelled it wrong again, did I? It's because it's not all one word. Anyway, you get the idea. That's how we were able to go in last week and discover that there was a load of shorts waiting. The 2 million short actually was waiting on Bitfinex. There's another actually useful one in here as well. The Dixie, a collection of currencies basketed against the US dollar. This correlates with Bitcoin. When this thing goes off on a run, Bitcoin falls. So I'd recommend saving this into your favorites. I'll show you how to do that now. There's the Dixie there. Notice Bitcoin's been doing bad lately. What's the Dixie doing? It's on an absolute tear, breaking trend lines and stuff. So useful. These are all useful. We also have, there's a few other ones. Look, I won't waste too much time on the indices. You get the message. They're all in there for you to find. Moving across, this section is the candles section. Hollow candles, high keens. You can change your candles to a line. Some people find that easier to look at. You can do the whole area, and that will light up, as you can see, some of the area. Baselines, Rankos, line breaks, they're all just crazy stuff. There's no need for any of that, right? So you can compare symbols as well. Again, that's advanced stuff. You won't worry about that. We'll just flick this back into candles and I'll move across. Here now we have, this is where you go to get all your indicators. You see all the different indicators here. You've got built-in ones, public libraries here with hundreds and thousands of different ones. Don't be daunted. Later on, as I said, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to show you 2 or 3 indicators. That's all you're going to need. So forget all this stuff just for a minute. We will come back to this pane when we're finished the GUI. We've got on the right here as well, metrics for stocks. Forget about that. Indicator templates. Forget about that for a minute. You can create alerts. Let's forget about that for a minute. Moving over here, there's more information for saving charts. And as you save them, they go in onto the side here. So listen, don't worry about that for the moment. That's different for everybody. You've got chart properties, you can go in here. This is important. You'll notice that my candles have changed color. Well, that's because the psychology behind the red and green is actually quite insidious. It's bred into us since we're children that red is dangerous and green is safe. The second you go into these exchanges, the mind games begin. You've got these big red candles, these big green candles. The green, you're thinking, oh, I got to buy, everyone else is buying, I'm going to miss out. The red, you guys know the psychology. The first thing to do, if you are going to trade, never mind, even if you are investing, is to get that panic away, because when you see that green candle going up, it tends to push you to buy when you should really be selling, and vice versa. The red candles just presents danger. You're already in a war in the trade and the candle's going down. It's going to make you sell and lose your position. So change them colors into less aggressive colors. And that's the first ward against the market makers. You can change the inside of the bodies, the borders, the wicks. I mean, you can change these back to green and red if you wanted, you know. The body, and then you put them back to red. And you see they go back to kind of a lime pink setup. You get the message anyway. That's all that. Hold on, I just moved this window out of my way. You can also publish charts and sell charts as well, and people can follow you and all this stuff. Again, we're not going to get into that. There's watch lists. Well, this is just basically down here on the side. Once these charts are on the side, you can just click on them, and then there's my Litecoin chart after popping up. And vice versa, there's an ETH Bitcoin charts. You click on them and they just pop up. I suppose something else as well. If you want to zoom in on a chart, you just hold the center and scroll up, and you'll be able to zoom out. If you want to change the length of the candles, just on the side here, just scroll up and down. Probably should explain that at the start. That's all basic stuff. What else have we got here? This is quite interesting as well here. Over here on the side, you see down the bottom here, we have more technicals. But I'll just get back into a Bitcoin chart first, and we'll have a look. Where it says more technicals, if you click on this here, there's many useful oscillators in here. You see this here, we've got the 1 day. So it's saying it's a strong sell. Now, what's this based off? Well, you've got the moving averages here on the right, all your oscillators on the left. And it'll actually give you a list down here of what it's using to gather this information. So again, if you don't want to bother pulling out a load of indicators and you just want to get a rough sentiment, you can go straight in there, and that's handy. And you can change the time frame on this. If you're doing some breakout trading or swing trading, you can go to the 1 hour. If you're investing, you want to have a look, doesn't really matter. You probably go out to the 1 day, depending again on your mindset.
Can we just pause you there for a second, David?
Yeah.
We have a question from Don. Don has his hand up.
Sure, yeah.
You want to hop in there, Don?
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, it was just earlier you mentioned using Coinbase for the Bitcoin versus dollars chart. Is that, in your personal opinion, and this is not financial advice, is that would you use Coinbase for the BTC USD chart?
Yeah, well, you can use Coinbase, you can use some of the other big exchanges. Personally, I think that Coinbase has a huge volume, and so it's just a personal preference. But any of the popular ones, you know, the Binance chart is up there, that's got huge volume too. But I tend to think that Coinbase probably has the biggest volume, and I could be wrong. It's just a personal thing, you know.
Okay, maybe I'll try and look that up, because like one of the problems with the Binance chart is that it doesn't go back until the
doesn't go back because Binance was only invented 2-3 years ago. Exactly, yeah. Some of the older exchanges, the Bitfinex one goes back quite some time. What other one is around since the start? Bitstamp. Bitstamp's an oldie, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to always use Bitstamp.
Yeah, that's been around for quite some time. So yeah, any of them ones, Don, they'll take you back to the dawn of Bitcoin, you know.
Yeah, I guess the advantage of the Coinbase one is that the Coinbase one would tell you what a lot of ordinary people.
Sorry, you're breaking up there, Donnie. I didn't.
A lot of like my mother would use Coinbase, for example. Like, you know.
Good honor. Another quick question there, Dave. The watch list that you have down the side that you're going through now that you can quickly access, how'd you add stuff to that?
Add to watch list up here on the, bear with me. Chart properties, watch list, here we go. Create new list or watch list. So yeah, you go up here and you save, don't you? Save chart. Actually have me there.
Is it just that little plus button beside where it
they
says
actually save. They seem to save automatically as soon as you create a chart. You know, it seems to just save automatically, because I didn't save them. Just as I open them, they appear. So I'm sure there is another way of doing it. Yeah.
What about that little crosshair there that's beside the word watch list?
Watch list, cross. There you go. Yeah, you add them in through there. Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect. And you can go in and add an indices as well as any of the Forex crypto. Applies to all of them.
Ian is saying he can't find Omni on it. I'll have a look for Omni, Ian, in the background, and I'll let Dee carry on.
I don't think it's up there. There's a lot of obscure altcoins that actually aren't on TradingView yet. And it's unfortunate. The only way to chart them sometimes is to go onto the CoinMarketCap chart until they get a bit more established. Or it could be
can you hear me?
Sorry, Ian, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so if so TradingView is a thing for charting most coins. If you can't find it, can you use the same sort of techniques that you were explaining now to go on to the place where the coin essentially is, like Bit4X or something? Is that the idea? Or
Most of the exchanges, TradingView isn't an exchange, so it has the chart, but the rest of the functions on it are completely different to an exchange. So, you know, I mean, you can set orders and stuff here to trigger you, but provided it's the same chart from the exchange you're using, you know yourself with the different slippages between exchanges. So you could use it to work if you're got the exact two charts, yeah. But you can't bang in orders on TradingView. You can't actually set an order there per se.
Right.
It's not an
the
exchange.
tools are are similar to what's in an exchange essentially, or
Yeah, they're pretty standard. Yeah,
right?
totally.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
most of them wouldn't have as many as this on a standard exchange. You wouldn't really draw lines. You'd come to TradingView to draw your lines for the most part. You know.
Because what I was wondering, because you have to pay for this, don't you? You get like a 14-day trial, and then you have to pay for it after. So what's the advantage
Yeah.
over this than just going to an exchange and using the?
Well, this is actually a free account. I'm using a free account here to do this demo right now. I don't pay for it myself.
Okay.
There's a couple of advantages to paying. You can get rid of your ads. You can. There's a couple of advantages. You can share. You can share your tab amongst several browsers at the one time.
Okay.
Just little things like that, you know. Free account is perfect, though. Honest to God, just for what we're demonstrating here tonight for investment positions, free account is perfect. Even for trading on, it's perfect, you know.
Ian, just on that, if you go into one of the exchanges, they do have an equivalent. So I think I know what you mean. You can get, if you go to OMI on the like Gate.io website, and you click the picture of the candle, it will bring up a similar sort of chart that's built into Gate.io. It won't
Yeah,
give you
that's
as
what I
much
thought. I
stuff.
wasn't sure if it had exactly the same sort of things that it was talking about here, all the bits and bobs in the corner and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've seen it. I've tried drawing lines, and it just tends to disappear on me. So, but I think I've just got to I've just got to get the hang of it, basically, and that's it.
Yeah, it takes a bit of a while. I mean, some of the interfaces are daunting. As you can see, there's just buttons everywhere. But you know, after a bit of time, I forgot to go into these ones down the sides, guys. They're not too important. You've got a calculator, a calendar, messages and stuff like that. We won't worry about that. So I'm going to go back here. If anybody who has this open now is following along and just tapping the buttons. If you want to set up your strategy now for nailing investments, we're going to start that now. I'm just going to clear all indicators first, make sure all the drawings and all the indicators are gone. So now we've got a blank chart. There's absolutely nothing on it. So we're going to come along here, and the first thing to do is to go in, and we're going to look at moving averages. So on the top browser, just tap in MA. You'll see here all these different moving averages. So the one that I actually recommend is the exponential. It's a bit more real time than a normal moving average. That's about 5 or 6 down. You see it here. If you click this box, it puts it into your favorites. So now when I go into my favorites, I've got a moving average. I want just to click this twice and just click out here. I actually hit it 3 times. 2 was enough for the moment. So what we do is on the top one here, guys, we go into settings, and we see here we've got the time frame. On this one, I want you to put 200, and that's on inputs. You see there's 2 tabs here, style and inputs. On the style input, gonna leave that blue. Yeah, blue is good. And just press OK. So now you've got that one in, and we're going to roll onto the second one here. Do the same thing. Hit settings, style. I want you to put this one as red. This is optional. You can put them any color you want. This is just how I do it. You just say red for argument's sake. And then I want to set this one as, what was the last one? The 200. I want to set this as a 50. God damn it. I'm in the wrong one here. Sorry. Yeah. Back to inputs and then put in 50. Okay. Now we've got our moving averages. Over here on the side here, you can slide this tab here out of your way when you're working, and I'm going to do that right now just to get it out of our way. See the way? I've no mouse here, bear with me. Anyway, yeah, sound. So yeah, we've got our two moving averages here. So this death cross everyone was talking about, you can now see it on your screen. You've now got that set up. You can save it as a template. So the reason I'm pulling this up is this is not really a reliable trading gizmo at all, you know, but a lot of people do want to do it successfully, but everyone uses it. The reason I'm pulling it up now is because I want to show you something. To me, this is the line in the sand between a bull run and a bear run. And I think most people in crypto will agree with that. And I'll show you why now. I just go back down here. Let's go back to times of past. And just big that up a bit using the central and the side cursors. So you can kind of see here, guys, when we're on top of these moving averages, everything's rosy, going to the moon, everything's happy. As soon as we go under, we went under here, tested, and by God did we fall. Kind of similar to what's going on now. We came up again, tested it, and we actually got through at that time. And so you can see the story rolls on through the whole history of Bitcoin. That was the March crash, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that was the March crash, 13th of March that we're looking at there. We were able to come back above that by May. We flirted with it briefly here in August, if you remember that. Around, we had a DeFi explosion in the summer. Bitcoin kind of went asleep for a bit. We came back up here, we rocketed, came back down, tested. And once we got outside that during this parabola, man, we just ripped. We came down and tested it a couple of times here. That was all good. Shot straight back off. And when we hit our all-time high that time, that's why I'm picking stable coins for competition of the month or for coin of the month, because we are still under this. And then when we fell and we lost this one, well, for me, that was it. Bull run over. Probably not permanently. No one knows that. It could be temporary. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. So if you're coming along now to invest, most people all bought up here. They were awful entry points for the most part. Whereas right now where we're sitting, even though we're underneath the moving averages, we know now that if we get in at these orders here and we rise anywhere near where we were, we have a reversal, we've got some beautiful entry points. In fact, you've got 8 entry points that will match the 25th of January, 2021. How many times along here have you said, oh, I'd love to go back to January's prices? We're right here now. So anyway, these are the line in the sand. These are the border between bear and bull as far as I'm concerned. So handy to have, handy to look at. When you zoom out, you just say to yourself, all this crap going on YouTube, people telling you, buy, sell. You cut all that noise out and you just come out and you just look at this stuff. If we get back on top of this, we'll all start popping champagne. We're back in the bull run. But until then, maybe not, you know. So moving average is very good. Now I'm going to give you another nugget here. And I never tell anyone this. I've only ever told one person this. So I'm going to show you guys tonight. I'm going to leave the moving averages on for now. Actually, I don't need them for now. We get them back up if we need them. Back to indicators up here. This is called a Keltner channel. Keltner. Second one down, you click on that. I spelled it wrong again, didn't I? Stand 5 fingers in mine. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Look at this. I'm going to roll back a bit in time as well to give you an idea of how this has been behaving. This is all on the 1 day as well, by the way. Look at this Keltner channel. Once we're outside of it, we're in a bull run. We come down here, start using it as resistance. When we found the floor, we came back up, tested the middle one, tested the top one, and we were off to the races again. This has been so reliable. I've been trading off this for a few months, and what an indicator. You can use this alone to make proper entries and exits. this is the same story. We were up at the 64 when we broke the all-time highs. We came back down. We were able to pop up back in, but that was the last time we ever got above a counter channel. And look what's happened since. Not only are we using the top line as resistance, we're now using the very last counter line as resistance. We were able to get back up there the other day. We got rejected severely, back down to the floor. We tested the bottom, broke through. We're now testing the middle line with this daily candle as we speak. So to me, this is better than any moving average. I live by this. I think it's an amazing indicator. So again, don't be worrying about having, I've looked at some people's charts and it's like the schematics of a medical operation or something. It's ridiculous. They've got lines everywhere. It's like a fractal. It's ridiculous. That's just going to lead to paralysis. It's paralysis by analysis. So forget about all that. If you're going to use any, just stick simple, zoom out, and just stick to these guys. Now we get rid of this for a minute. The counter is gone. Another very important one, probably one of the most important. It's not on my chart right now. It's the volume. Just messed that up as well. Volume. There we go. Guys, you have to be looking at this as well. You don't want to invest. You want to be investing when the volume is coming in, you know, if you're putting in a trade, that is. I mean, look at this. We've got problems here. The price is rising up. The volume is petering off. Little signs like this, just little indicators like this can tell you just to keep your powders dry and wait. The biggest part of investing is having the patience to wait for the right entry point. We've all done it. I'm holding coins that I bought a few months ago that I FOMO'd into them. We all do it. But we should really step back and wait for the entry points and use these tools just to get an edge on the rest of the people that are FOMOing. And if you can find the right entry point, if we all entered in now, say you bought in up here, the best thing you can do right now as an investor is to buy back an equivalent bag. Say you bought £1,000 worth of cummies, cum rockets up here, or God knows what it was, right? Cardano, anything. Well, down here, you should buy the exact same amount again. And then you've lowered your entry point by 50%. Otherwise, you're going to have to hold this bag for quite some time to get your money back. I know it's counterintuitive, but it's all about getting that average entry price down, because the people who prosper up here are the people who are getting in down here. And we will come back to these levels and blast through them again. So always keep some cash on the sideline as an investor. Never, ever buy all your coins at once. It's just essential. So that's the volume. The volume can help you with these decisions. Very important. There's another one I want to bring up, and then that's the last indicator as far as investment goes. And I get rid of this one just to make room, because I'm actually working on a laptop screen here. It's tiny. So get rid of the volume. This next one is called an RSI, but it's not normal RSI. It's the stochastic. It's fourth down, sorry. Where's it going? There we go. Hey guys, as an investor, you don't want to be putting in a buy when this thing's overbought. You want to wait till it's down here. See the way it's down here, and even lower. And it's really simple. When it's at the top, you know we're overbought, and you allow it to come back down, and you let it come down as low as you can. And when it starts moving back up again, if the blue curls over the red, these are strong buys. These are good buying zones, provided when times like this, as in our current trend, you're prepared to sell back up at the top of the RSI. You can farm 10% of your coins back. You can do this every day. This option is here every day. And I don't mean going on a fancy exchange like Bybit or Femex and going smacking in a load of leverage. No, you go into, say, your Binance account. You go in and you set it up down here. So let's say we want to buy some Bitcoin at 20,000. We want to buy it at 20,000. We smack in a limit order. The market order, that's straight away to buy right now. If you want to put in an actual price, you go to a limit order. You go into the limit order and you will put in how many Bitcoins, so you want to buy one Bitcoin, you know. What price do you want to buy the Bitcoin at? Well, here it's saying 31,000. Absolutely not. I'm going to buy that Bitcoin when it's 20,000 quid. I'll have one of them, please. Thanks. You can now put in that order, and you can put a stop loss. You can buy the Bitcoin, okay? Right. My order's gone in. So now say I want to sell that Bitcoin at a certain price. And this goes for any coin. When you buy the coin, go back into your chart. I'll open this actually first and show you guys, because this will make more sense. Here's a perfect example here. This line here, I'll just draw this line up on the wrong one there. Trend line. There we go. Right, see how interesting this is here. This line here, yeah. This was our last heinous low. It came in and filled out a nice end pattern here. You could say we broke the neck and we're coming up to retest. Anyway, that's not what I'm interested right now. I put a buy order in right in here. I did. I actually got stopped out. Trade is gone. We put a buy order in here, not up here or up here. You're down retesting this trend line, the lowest low. And let's say this at 31,600. To cover yourself when you're coming in here to do your trade, you put your stop loss right under that, couple of $100 under that, you know, and you'll set that up. So where are we at now on the price? 31,000 to 32,000. Let's say just 30,000, yeah, just for sake of even. You want to sell your Bitcoin. If you had a bought at that trend line now. So if it goes below that trend line, immediately you get stopped out and you're safe. Your money is safe. It's a free trade. This goes for investors. I mean, there's no point in buying your coins and then allowing them to just disintegrate. Have your stop losses in at the lowest low. And that way you've got a parachute always on your investment. And if you get stopped out, don't worry about it. It's all good. Well, we buy back in now when it finds its next bottom. And you're just basically by doing this, you've accumulated more coins. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm not going to go on anymore. We probably take some questions and have a chat about the situation.
Hey, we have some comments in. So we have. Don has said, Dave, I'd follow your YouTube channel or blog if you had one. Gwyn said the same to that. She seconds that. Don then says, with his voice, we can do freestyle jazz to his charting. I love it, Don. So I guess we can open up the floor for questions. So if anybody wants to ask the questions, now is the time to go. So go ahead. Anybody? I have a question for you, David.
Sure.
In terms of drawing trend lines,
yeah.
What is a trend line? What makes it a trend line?
Oh, thanks, Paul. I meant to explain that way back at the start. Okay, a trend line is defined by a minimum of 3 touch points. And you will define the trend line by the swing low and the swing high. That basically means when we change trend, the highest point. So let's say, here's a beauty here, actually. We were on a massive down pivot and then we kind of changed sentiment. So this is the swing high of that sentiment there. I would draw that around there. You've got your touch point. You've got 4 touch points there. That works for me. Now, this candle down here was actually lower than that one on the trend change. But one could argue we could use that candle. You can use either. We'll see. Yeah, we've got plenty of touch points there. To me, that looks like a fair enough. There's confluence there along that line. So now that you've established that, well, you need to establish what does this mean? Well, that's basically an ascending wedge or an ascending triangle. They're both bearish patterns. And what do you take from that? Well, you can do a price projection. To do that, I would take this measured line here. I think we went through this the last time on a video, but we'll do it again. Yeah, commands. Was a command and C, I think, is it? Yes. So this will give us a measure move down, and we'll do the same for up, just for funsies. So if this were to break out around about now, we'd be looking at a price projection of 43,000, which will be beautiful. Will take us way above lots of resistances. We go down, we're looking at a 23.2, give or take, which is interesting. Yeah, I would say 24 for the next. If we go down again, I'd say 24. The reason we say 24 is not just because of that line, because if you look here, we've a bit of confluence around here. You can see that we didn't spend long here now. I wouldn't be trusting it as very strong, but we did spend a bit of time around here. So to me, that's a weak support. If we come down to this, I wouldn't say we spend long here. I'd say we heading back down fairly shortly to the 20 grand if we do manage to kiss this. So yeah, that's kind of how you would extrapolate that, you know.
We have Viviana with a question.
Yeah, sure, fire away.
Yeah, sorry. A lot of people usually mention the Fibonacci trending. Where do you usually you put the origin of the Fibonacci if you use it? Yeah. And the second one is is the strategy you mentioned before with the volumes part of the dollar cost averaging?
No, that's just that's more for traders, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
The volume thing. If you see a breakout happening and the volume candles are really weak, the chances are it's a fake out and it's not going to have the legs to make it to the desired take profit point. The first question about the Fibonacci's, great question, Viviana, very important. Fibonacci's are so useful. I personally, I don't use them unless I'm actually trading. Investment, I don't really use them, but very important indicators. Type in fib in your search bar. You come down here, you can have fib bands, just general fibs, auto fib retracements, extensions. Again, you click on that, turn yellow, it goes into your favorites. Show it on there, I'll give you a look. So there's your Fibonacci lines. Let's have a look and see if there's any interesting confluences.
How did you draw them? Where did you get, sorry, where did you pick your start point again?
I actually just went into the auto fib extension, so they automatically pick them. Auto fib actually does them for you, save it all the hassle. And that's going off all the, obviously, the recent confluences. Yeah, look at that. The 149 fib up, or the 449 fib up the top there, that was some pretty tough resistance. We came down, tested the I can't even say that, the 0.26 we'll call it. We ripped through the next one that had no confluence whatsoever. The one under that, we found support and then we completely fell, got rejected from it 2-3 times. And then we fell completely down and wicked right down to the 31025. And it looks like we're about to test that again. So that's how Fibonacci's kind of work. Very reliable, great tools. Again, though, I only use 2 or 3 tools on a chart, so you have to pick 2 or 3. You can't use them all, or you will paralyze yourself. So for every different investor and trader has got to pick the 2 or 3 that works for them. And Fibonacci's work at 3. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them just because I don't use them. Doesn't mean anything, you know, that way. So to get rid of them, you just X here and X here again. So yeah, good question, Viv. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
There's another couple of questions. Viviana, have you got another question there?
No, I put them all together. Sorry.
Good stuff. Okay, Sanjeev has asked, is there a good book or course for beginners to learn technical analysis and charting for crypto?
I have actually not read any books on the matter myself. How I done it was actually these replays. How many of you open up the replay? I haven't opened it in a while. Dun, dun, dun. You can actually set the replay here and you can guess trades. So you can roll back to a certain date. You can guess. Look, you can open up the indicators and you can say, right, judging by these indicators, I guess I went up. So you can actually, it's like trading skill. So, I mean, that's very useful for learning. I'm sure there's plenty of books out there. I'm more of a hands-on person. I learn from practice and stuff. So I can't help you there. Sorry, I do not know of any good ones.
I found, I haven't read a book myself, but Investopedia is very, very good.
That's it, Paul. I just Google, if I see this chart, this pattern here, I don't know what that is, I just go into Investopedia patterns and match up to which pattern, match up to look at the explanation and take it from there. That's how I learned.
So I have another question here from Mark, and I don't know how to pronounce this. I use Ichimoku. Ichimoku?
Oh, Ichimoku clouds, absolutely brilliant.
Is that how to pronounce it? Yeah.
Ichimoku clouds
on the 4-hour time, which I find very useful. Any thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. I'll open up the Ichimoku. Absolutely brilliant indicator. It's basically resistance clouds. So you'll see now when we open it up. There we are. You'll see it gives us these beautiful clouds of resistance and support. I just open up three of them with my heavy-handed kind of carry on. Yeah, you see these clouds here. We've got a green resistance there. We've a horrible red resistance sitting on top of us now. That's just absolutely awful looking. So you can tell things don't look good for Bitcoin at the moment. They don't look good at all. These are just resistance clouds, and they work. They're reliable most of the time. Again, I don't use them myself, as you can't use them all, but yeah, 100% great indicator and a good one to hold in your favorites, in your arsenal, definitely.
It is actually, Mark. Hopefully you can actually hear me. I'm in Iraq, so my link is very bad.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, loud and clear. Great, thanks. This is my first time joining you, so thank you very much. I actually chose Ichimoku because it sounds great. That's the only reason I chose it. I actually find it is very helpful in the fact that it helps you trade. It helps to tell you when to trade, and then also says when not to trade, like when you're inside the cloud and when you're below the cloud, and you can take a trade there, and then when you're above the cloud and the price is above the cloud, it's a really good position to take. And people are asking about books, and I actually agree with Dave. Sometimes it's worth just getting in there and taking a spin. And YouTube, I have to say, for some trading indicators is very, very useful, which is where I picked up Ichimoku. I just watched and watched and watched, and I thought, well, that's the one for me, and I stick with it. I don't use anything else.
Very good. Well, welcome on your first evening, all the way. Where did you say you were? Israel?
Iraq.
Iraq.
And I think I recognize the accent there, sir, a little bit.
Oh, Donegal, man. I'm a Donegal.
Oh, class. Belfast up this way, dude.
There you go. 6
Very
miles.
good. That's not far at all. I went to college in Bangor, so know where you are. Class. Sorry. Nice to meet you.
Can you speak in Arabic with a Belfast accent? I think that would be great.
Oh, God.
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum, so it
Kefrente.
Okay, we have another question here, Dave, from Ian. I just noticed there Ian has a Marvels background. I assume that's because of the Omni partnership lately. How do you get your numbers for the moving averages again? Can you just go through that quickly again?
Sure, no problem. Well, I'm going to clear all of this stuff off. I just take this out of the way.
When I say how do you get them, I mean like because I followed what you did and I put in 200 and I put in 50. But why is it 250 and not, I don't know, 110, for instance?
Yeah, because just in trading in general over the decades, the 50-day moving average and the 200-day are just really popular ones, and everybody else is kind of going off them, so they're reliable indicators of sentiment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. That answers the question then. You don't have to, because I followed exactly what you did. You said, oh, put 200 here and 50 here. And I was thinking, why 200? Why 50? So now you've explained it. That makes sense. So
good question. I actually forgot to explain the relevance of that. Yeah. Just saying, just random numbers, just getting tapped in.
Yeah, I was like, what's those random numbers? And the other one you said I can't remember what it's called, the Keltner
channel. Yeah,
that's it, the Keltner channel. So when you're saying, because you've obviously got those three lines essentially. So are you saying when it sort of starts peaking above like the middle essentially, then that means that it's a good time to sell? Or I don't understand I understand the channels there, but what does the channel mean essentially?
I was looking at the Keltner channels as more of another indicator of where we are sentiment was in the bull run. Where's the Keltner's gone? I'll try to switch them back on. I'll make them back on for you. Should be in my favorites, are they? No, never saved. I wiped my whole chart down for today and cleared every single thing off, so I was just naked. And I did it again. You'll have to excuse my fat hands. There we go. Yeah, so if you see in, if you look at this, I'll take us up to the parabola here from March onwards. And you can see that once we're on top of these candle channels, we're bullish. For that whole bull run, we never fell outside of these channels. But look what happened as soon as we did come out of it. All
So
hell
you
broke
just use
loose.
it as it's just an indicator as to whether or not the coin or token you're using is bullish. You can use it on other ones. It's not just Bitcoin, obviously. So
I haven't used the counter on other channels.
Right.
I only use it on Bitcoin myself. I was only I only ever really trade Bitcoin until recently. And because I know we're outside of the counter, I don't use it. So it's more for in the bull run. I'm going to tell you, right, we're still in the bull run. And when you fall out of it, it's a good time to just sit back and just let the dust settle. And you're seeing here, once we lost it, we've been using it as resistance. So we stopped using it as a support and we flipped it into a resistance. And right when I seen that, that's how I knew the game was up. We're still under it.
But
We came over
essentially, so
briefly.
you can use it for other altcoins in the sense of you look at Bitcoin to see what's going to happen to those altcoins,
Yeah.
as opposed to using it for the altcoin itself.
Exactly. I'm using Bitcoin as a leading indicator to the whole market. That's it, man.
Gotcha.
Say I was looking at 20 charts at once, you know yourself.
Mm.
Yeah. It's interesting. Great indicator.
I guess then with that, when we're in a bear trend like we are now, and if you were shorting the market, you could probably put an entry point in at the bottom of it for a strategy. You could probably put the entry point in at the bottom of the candle. So when it bounces back up and is about to come back down again, you get your entry point in.
And you could see how successful that would be. You know, every time it's a great indicator. And the reason I like it so much, the reason I go on about it so much is because I don't know anyone else that uses it. So this is a great edge on the market makers and the bots and what have you, you know. Because they're all looking at moving averages and Fibonacci's and all the usual suspects. So it's nice to find a tool that's not as popular and just keep an edge on that lot, you know.
Okay, is there any other questions? I think that's it for questions for you. So you
Excellent.
can, yeah, I think that's it. That was brilliant. That was really interesting. Thank you very
Good
much.
stuff. Glad you found it interesting.
So what we're going to do now is quickly share the coin of the month contest before we finish up. So I'm going to share my screen.
There's trouble.
Din, 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 diddlin, diddlin, din, din, din.
Hell.
So unfortunately, Harley, the gains that you had weren't enough on Ecomi yesterday to bring you up. So they weren't, because the coin had lost so much at the start of the month, as we pointed out. So for those that aren't familiar, we started this contest last month, probably the worst month to start it. We all picked 2 coins and we're getting the average gain or loss on them. And whoever had the highest gain was going to win a prize, but now it's going to be whoever has the lowest loss, or the least amount of loss. So there we are. We have Quinn in on number 3, Robert in on number 2. Have we got Robert here with us? I don't think we do we?
I don't think he's in there.
Now we have Diernan in number 4. Good on you, Diernan.
Yeah, happy days.
But David, you're up there still at number 1. You're super smart.
Clever close.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, and look, Paul, I was about to pick with you as well, by the way.
Do it live.
Might as well do it live.
No.
Why am I not allowed to win? Because I can't decide what the market's going to do. It's not like the NFT competition where we could have rigged it. That was fair enough, but I mean, I can't rig. It doesn't matter. I can't rig the market.
Contest. Yeah, but you're hosting the contest.
Wait. Father, I got to jump in on this real quick. I think going forward in the next competition, if you guys win, well then there's nothing wrong with that. But then it means then you can explain to us exactly what way you did it or what way you went about picking your coin, you know?
Thanks, Wayne.
That's a fair point, Jay. That's a fair point. We had a suggestion last week about having a Bitcoin price guessing competition, and next week is the end of the month is on Wednesday. So next week we'll have the final presentation of the leaderboard and we'll have the prizes. But we're also going to roll out a Bitcoin guessing competition. Now we're not going to just guess for 1 month. We're going to guess for a couple of months. So we're going to guess the month end for the next couple of months going forward to the end of the year. And we'll have a leaderboard running until the end of the year. So we've given a number of price points, one for the end of each month up until the end of the year. But we'll discuss that more next week when we are rolling it out and we're awarding the prizes for this week. So nice work, everybody. I'm going to stop sharing now. So I think that's it, unless anybody else has anything that they'd like to jump in with. No? Good stuff. Well, listen, Dave, thank you very much. That was a really good presentation. And everybody else, we will see you all next week. And sure, we'll catch up in the Telegram group during the week. Thanks very much to everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.